What are you doing here? Trying to stop a murderer.
What's the good news, Doc?
We don't want you in Port Charles.
I look forward to proving you wrong.
I'm sure whatever you're thinking won't work for me.
I'm afraid I made a huge mistake.
Does that mean I'm hired?
General Hospital latest update, is Emma Scorpio Drake being manipulated by the WSB for revenge on Anna? After shocking changes in Emma's behavior, including a run-in with WSB Chief Jack Brennan, General Hospital fans are left wondering, will Emma be brainwashed to turn against her grandmother, or is there more to her transformation than meets the eye? Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers. Will Emma be brainwashed by the WSB to exact revenge on Anna? General Hospital spoilers reveal Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, was stunned to see her granddaughter, Emma Scorpio Drake, Braden Bruner, back in Port Charles. Moreover, she couldn't believe the trouble she had gotten herself into both there and back home in California. She's not exactly used to this spunky and smart-mouthed version of the little girl she used to enjoy visits from, but she'll get there. That being said, we have to wonder what has become of Emma. How did she go from such a sweet young girl to a traveling pickpocket? Could this change in behavior be much bigger than a mere 20-something losing her way in college? General Hospital spoilers, Emma Scorpio Drake, meet Jocelyn Jack. It seemed like a chance meeting. Jocelyn Jack's Eden McCoy gave Emma something else to focus on for a moment after being reamed out by her grandmother and ordered to be her new roommate or otherwise suffer being schlepped back home to her parents. Chatting up Joss at Bobby's, WSB Chief Jack Brennan, Charles Measure, entered Emma's orbit in a flash. Just like that, he was gone and we thought nothing of it. But not everyone was left feeling that way. General Hospital spoilers hint Anna is out for blood. Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, wasted no time going after Brennan and insisting that he never speak to her granddaughter again. She could have been arrested and potentially lost her career over what she had done, tossing Brennan in his own hotel room and reading him the riot act. It was clear that Anna felt she had every reason to be concerned about Brennan's intentions. Would he come for her grandchild now that he knew who she was? Did he really need to meet her to know that information? General Hospital spoilers, has Emma Scorpio Drake been co-opted? It's too soon to say where this storyline is headed, but some fans think Brennan will actually end up being a sort of savior to a problematic young Emma. She can't seem to get out of her own way, and it seems she's out looking for attention. If that's the case and she wants to get into trouble, she's certain to find some. Will Brennan cut her some slack, something her grandmother is unwilling to do? Or is it possible that she'll be inured to work against her grandmother in the WSB's favor? Would that be the ultimate payback? We don't know, but we sure hope it pulls Robin Scorpio, Kimberly McCullough, and Patrick Drake, Jason Thompson, back to town. Today's next update, Tracy pulls rank over Brook, Lynn, and Maxie at Deception, and Laura issues a warning to Sidwell. Today on General Hospital, Willow stands up to Tracy, Kai gets bad news, and Curtis turns Drew's idea down. Carly returns to her hotel room in Germany and is a wreck. There is a knock at the door, Carly answers it, and it's Brennan. She asks what he's doing here. He explains that he had a meeting in London and came to check on her, and it seems he was right to do so. Carly invites him in and suggests they order room service. They sit down for some tea and discuss Michael's decision to be here and at this clinic. She laments that she isn't being given access to her son, so he suggests she could transfer him to Johns Hopkins. Carly says this clinic was Michael's choice. Carly is even more emotional because Michael was burned because of Sonny, and she brought Sonny into Michael's life. Jack tells her there is no point in dwelling on mistakes of the past, as it's a path to madness. Jack tells her that early in his career, a mission went wrong, and a fellow agent was killed. He lost a good friend, but he couldn't preoccupy his thoughts with, what if, as you can't change the past. Carly has had to face that scenario before when she lost her son, Morgan. Carly plans to go back to the clinic and see Michael. This time, she won't let them keep her out. Jack offers her a ride, and she accepts. At the gatehouse, Willow leaves Drew a message letting her know she and the kids are okay. Nina arrives with breakfast for her and the kids and asks how being back here is. Willow admits she feels she made a huge mistake. As they sit down to talk, Tracy waltzes in and says it's time to set some ground rules. Nina says Tracy can't barge into Willow's house, but Tracy says it's Monica's house and they are tolerating Willow's presence. Willow informs Tracy she only came back here for Monica's sake. She threatens to have the kidnapping charges against her reinstated, which she could easily do. Tracy calls Willow untrustworthy and says there is a little more Nellie in her than she thought. Nina defends her daughter and says Tracy has no right to talk about Nellie. Willow points out she can up and leave with the kids, and Tracy will have to explain that to Monica. Tracy backs down but says there is one non-negotiable condition, and that is Drew cannot visit her as he's banned from this property permanently. Tracy leaves, and Nina says she's proud of Willow for standing up to Tracy. Willow says she couldn't have done it without her mom. However, she's wondering if she should do as Drew suggested, take the kids, and move back in with Nina. Nina tells Willow that she compromised with Sunny and Carly, and with Tracy, so keep trusting her instincts. The effort she is putting in will lead to an amicable resolution between her and Michael when the day comes. Willow agrees to stay but says she will miss her mom. Nina says she won't give her a chance as she'll be here all the time. Willow is happy to hear, and they hug. Drew arrives at Aurora to talk to Curtis, but his former friend doesn't think Drew has anything to say that he wants to hear. Drew knows he hurt him and made mistakes, but he wants them to try and pivot away from his mistakes and find something that can work for the both of them. Curtis doubts he can say anything to sway him. Drew asks him, for the sake of how long they've known one another, to hear him out. Drew hates not having control of his company, a company he created. He feels they can come up with a stock sale that gives him ownership of his company back, and he'll honor Curtis' contract. Drew says Michael's moves were only to punish him, and he sees Curtis is doing well in the CEO role, so it makes sense he gets ownership back. Curtis says he'd rather resign than take Drew's deal. Curtis states he wouldn't betray Michael if he was in the office down the hall, and he won't do it when he's in a burn unit. He says it was Michael who warned him about his dear friend Drew, a man he doesn't even recognize. Curtis asks, "What the hell happened to you?" Drew explains when he was given the opportunity to run for Congress, he was exposed to a whole new world, and he and Willow ended up developing a real connection. Curtis says, "Whatever you have to tell yourself." Drew points out not all marriages last, both of their first ones didn't. He says pushing Willow away won't help Michael or Willow at this point. He also knows he made mistakes that led them to where they are now. Curtis says Michael will recover, and he would rather have Michael in his corner than Drew. Drew gives Curtis one final chance to consider his offer, as without Aurora's money behind him in Congress, he has no reason to protect the company. Curtis can't believe he'd sink the company and orders him to get the hell out. Trina spots Joss in the hospital halls and asks what she's doing here. Joss says she's stopping a murderer. Joss explains she is trying to get answers about Dex's death. Trina understands. Joss asks her friend if she's here to see her mom, but Trina admits she's here to visit Kai. Joss thinks it will be good for Kai to see her. She says Trina isn't from the football world, which is Kai's whole identity, so she will be good for him. Joss asks what's in the bag she has, and Trina says she brought him some shakes and bars from Aurora Wellness. Joss decides to head off and says she'll see Trina at home. Stella visits Kai, who is hopeful he's getting out of the hospital really soon. Stella says he has a lot of work ahead of him, and she doesn't want him to push it and set his recovery back. Kai promises not to do anything that will get in the way of his progress. Stella urges him to take the time to heal, as he has his whole life ahead of him, and he'll need his arm when he's done with football. Kai tells her that he can't enter the draft this year, so he'll be at PCU for another year. Stella admits she likes hearing that, as she loves watching him play for their home team. The doctor comes in, and Kai asks what the good news is. Meanwhile, Stella departs and runs into Trina in the hall. Stella is glad that Trina has come to see Kai, and feels it will do him good. Trina goes to see Kai, whose entire expression has changed. Kai says he just talked to the orthopedist and will never play football again. Joss visits Turning Woods and asks the woman at the front desk about a volunteer position. The woman says there is one slot open, so Joss asks her to sign her up. Lulu shows up to see Maxie at Deception, but she's not in her office. When the phone rings, Lulu answers it as Maxie comes in, listens in, and tells her that her technique has improved since Crimson. Lulu asks if that means she's hired. Maxie says she's overqualified and would be miserable here. Lulu asks what is really going on. Why doesn't she want her to have this job? Lynn arrives and asks why Lulu is here and if Maxie hasn't told her that they aren't hiring her. Lulu realizes Maxie was trying to protect her from Lynn's decision. Lynn explains she has a stake in this company, and Lulu would be her assistant, which would make for an uncomfortable work environment. Lulu doesn't understand why Lynn hates her, as she didn't come in between her and her boyfriend. Lynn did that to her. Lynn tells Lulu she feels like with her here, that she'll be on her toes as she thinks Lulu will wait for her to make a mistake and criticize her. Lulu says she doesn't do that, but Maxie says Lulu does, and Lynn does it to Lulu. Maxie cuts to the chase and says deception has had a lot of ups and downs over the past year with personnel. Lulu says she's sorry to have used her friendship with Maxie for the job, and she'll go. Maxie and Lynn stop her and feel for her, as she was in a coma for 4 years and then had her liver fail on top of everything. Maxie says they all got tested to see if they were a match, including Lynn. Lulu didn't know. Lynn explains there is a lot she doesn't know, including how Tracy stole the company from Lucy, and Maxie was the one who kept this company going and a success. Lynn says that's why deception means so much to Maxie. Lulu says she would never want to hurt Maxie, and Lynn insists they don't want to hurt her, but a lot has changed. Lulu apologizes and says she's only been focused on her needs, and she didn't look at things from Maxie's perspective. Lulu knows Maxie and Lynn have become friends. Maxie says Lulu is her friend, too, and she doesn't want to have to choose between them. Lynn admits part of what bothers her about Lulu is she reminds her of the person she was, and she's worked hard to move forward from that woman. Lulu can understand, as they all have regrets about past mistakes. Suddenly, Tracy waltzes in, complaining she's having a really bad day, spots Lulu, and wonders what she's doing here. Maxie explains Lulu was thinking about applying for the assistant position. Tracy says she's hired, but Lulu says after talking to Maxie and Lynn, she thinks it's better to see if Carly can give her a job. Tracy says she is the majority shareholder, so she is hired and will pay her double the last assistant. Lulu feels she has no choice but to accept, and Tracy welcomes her to deception. Maxie's phone rings and Tracy tells Lulu, "What are you waiting for?" Lulu answers the phone, and Lynn squirms. Sidwell shows up at Laura's office to meet her, only to find Anna there as well. Laura tells Sidwell she believes he knows Anna. Anna says they do know each other, as he tried to have her killed, along with Laura's son. Sidwell says he feels terrible about the situation with Lucky in Africa. Laura says, "You mean holding my son hostage and forcing him to play cards to stay alive?" Jen says Anna, Jason and Lucky lied to him and were a threat to his business. Also, nothing he did was against the laws in that part of South Africa. Anna points out that holding Sasha hostage and blowing up a building is against Port Charles's laws. Jens notes nobody has accused him, have they? He explains he's just an importer and wants to base his North American part of his company out of Port Charles. Laura wonders why, as there are so many better options. Laura gets frank and tells Jens they don't want him in Port Charles. Jens says he will make sure to abide by all the laws, which they will soon see. He will be a model citizen. Anna says they'll keep an eye on him, and the PCPD won't be the only agency doing so. Laura warns him he may find it difficult doing business in a town that doesn't want him. He looks forward to proving them wrong and departs. Once he's gone, Laura and Anna discuss the fact that Sidwell's purchase of Spoon Island was legal. Laura asks if she, Jason and Lucky can't file a complaint with the international courts. Anna notes it won't do good, as Sidwell was operating in a place that is completely lawless. As for what happened with Sasha, Anna says, unfortunately, the kidnapping was never reported, and there is nothing to tie Sidwell to the property that blew up. Laura says a man like Sidwell doesn't change. Anna agrees and notes Sidwell's arrival coincided with the bombing of Sunny's apartment. Laura asks if Sidwell was behind it. Anna can't say, but is going to compare the evidence from Sunny's apartment with the warehouse that blew up, and maybe if they can connect them, it will connect back to Sidwell. Thanks for watching this videos, please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.